Hello, everybody, and welcome in to today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. My name is Sunny, and I'm here, of course, with the host with the most. What is up, my dude?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself, man?
I'm great. I'm doing wonderful. I had the best locals day yesterday. I'm
I
killing it.
saw. I was helping somebody move, so I unfortunately could not be there.
Yeah. I'm killing it, dude. We'll talk about that more later, though. Also with us here in the studio, we have the one, the only JD. What's up, dude?
Hello, yeah, it's nice to be on. I'm JD Shock, the sole host of Set 5 podcast. It's another smaller Yu-Gi-Oh podcast, but yeah, we kind of cover a little bit everything on it. I say we, but it's just me.
Yeah. So JD, like you said, JD here is the excuse me. Wow, is the host of the Set 5 podcast. It's a really awesome Yu-Gi-Oh podcast that started up. When did you start up? Because I know we started in May. When did you start up?
I started up actually in the end of July. My very first episode, which is poorly edited and with poor audio quality, I don't recommend listening to it. But
Yeah.
it was it was a deck profile of a Joker Knight deck that I was playing. But
Mhm.
the only reason why I did it was because I had the deck in max rarity, so it was like a $2,000 poker night deck.
Woo! Woo! This dude.
Like everything was collector rare.
That's awesome. So there will be links, absolutely, for those that are wondering. There will be links to the Set 5 Pass podcast in the description box below. Please check out the Twitter page as well as the Spotify page or Apple iTunes, whatever platform you're listening on. And yeah, what can people expect from you on the Set 5 podcast, Set 5 Pass podcast?
So on Set 5 Pass, I try to focus on doing some shorter episodes. There is some episodes that, kind of go into those half hour, 45-minute marks, but usually I try to cover a little bit of everything. So if there's a standout deck at my locals that like went undefeated, I'll try to do a deck profile with that with the player. I'll do set reviews. I've been trying to so it's a little bit different all the time. I switch up my routine pretty regularly. I don't like to do the same thing a lot of times because I, keep it fresh. I want to kind of keep everything on
Podcast of our check you out. And you know what? I'm just going to say,
like
hey, listen,
20 to 30
buddy.
minutes. My most recent episode was only like a 12-minute episode.
Hey, you have even less of an excuse because that's less than an hour and a half for for both of them.
Right. So, um, seriously though, it's good. I listened to it. I can't actually listen to our podcast because it's I can't hear my own voice. I just can't do it. So, also, I've kind of already heard it all once. You know what I mean? So, I can't listen to my own podcast. Please, I listen to the Set 5 Pass podcast when I'm looking for a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast to listen to. He updates very regularly, so it's definitely worth a listen. So, um, with that, we're going to go ahead on. We're going to do our usual plugs and everything. We're going to start with our Patreon. Of course, we do want to thank all of our patron supporters. You literally give us the ability to keep posting. And if you would like to be a patron supporter and get your name read out in the podcast every episode, be sure to join our Patreon. The link is in the description below. So a huge thank you to Austin Johnson, Kane Martin, Myth Oceanus, Pig, Scuzz Daddy, AD, Aaron Gardner, Anthony Leela, Damian Zink, Mountain Man, Owen Alvarado, Jeremy Drysdale, Ray Powell, and Sunny Sweet. Thank you all so much for the continued support of the podcast. And let's do the next thing, which is to tell you to please be sure to follow both us and the Set 5 podcast on Twitter. Ours is at Top Cut Podcast. And JD, what is yours? Your Twitter?
Mine is at Set5 Podcast.
Okay, cool. So be sure to follow the Top Cut Podcast as well as the Set 5 Podcast on Twitter. And you can also join our Discord server where we are in the server, obviously, talking all the time. JD is in the server. And do you have your own Discord server, or do you just mainly float around to a couple of other ones?
I float around in all the Discord servers. I am everywhere.
Got it. So be sure to find us in our server, and you can find JD in every server. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and move on into the main segment of our episode today, which is we're gonna talk a little bit about all of the sets of the last year, and we're gonna kind of go through them one by one to make sure that I wanted to do a set recap this episode because now that Brothers of Legend is officially released in the TCG, we don't have any more sets releasing for the rest of the year. So that'll give us a chance to go back, look through the year in sets. We're not doing the structure decks or the OTS packs because there's just not a lot to talk about there. And realistically, we kind of are working on a timer. So we want to be sure not to go too crazy long with this. So, and we're still covering 8 or 10 sets. So
Yeah.
we're going to start, of course, with the first set of the year, which was Blazing Vortex. So Blazing Vortex was released in February here in the North America, and it was, some support mainly for the Armed Dragon Thunder archetype, which was a retrain of the Armed Dragons. There was some Fabled stuff, some Dream Mirror stuff, some Eldritch stuff, a couple of Dogmatica cards. What is probably the second most notable card in this set, Tri Brigade Kit. Some weird stuff, Constellars, Ojamas, Dual Avatars. There's some live twin stuff in here. Some Ancient Warriors, Dragoonity, Machina, Archfiend, Virtual World support cards, and things like that. So it introduced the Spriggans and S-Force archetypes. And in the TCG specifically, it was also the introduction of Warrock and Materiactor. I'm just going to say, this set sucked, in my opinion. What about you two? What do y'all think?
Yeah, there were literally maybe 4 good cards total in the entire set.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Speak for yourselves. I am for the most part, Blazing Vortex is a pretty bad set. However, we got Warrocks, and I played Warrocks very religiously for a good couple months. Warrocks is a really fun deck if you know how to play it correctly. Most people just assume that it is an OTK deck, and it is not. And they get disappointed when they don't OTK. It is a battle phase-based control deck.
Yeah, that's kind of been my assessment of it from what I've seen. The issue, though, is that it's
it's a battle phase control deck.
Yeah.
So, the deck it's a cool concept, I think, but the issue is that, and it's kind of, how do I say this? You kind of have to have things like this introduced every now and then in the TCG, in the trading card game itself. In the game, you can't just ignore an entire part of the game. Ooh, excuse me, sorry. You can't just ignore an entire part of the game, which is the battle phase. So sure, you have to introduce a set or an archetype every now and then that kind of revolves around doing stuff in the battle phase, but it's not that good,
Yeah.
So, I think the most notable cards in particular here are the Pot of Prosperity, which is obviously the money card. It has the entire set propped up, and Tri-Brigade Kit, which is surprisingly expensive now. So.
Underworld Goddess is
Oh, does Underworld
so
Goddess
cute.
here?
Yeah, like Underworld
Yeah, it's like
Goddess is
the
in
best
this
card
set.
in the set.
It's the second best card in the set. Pot of Prosperity is here.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay, I forgot about Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. So listen, it was almost a year ago. Cut me some slack. Yeah, no, Underworld Goddess is a good card for sure. So that Underworld Goddess is probably the second best generic card in this set. Then, so other than that, the retro Starlight in this set was Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, which is so cool. It won't ever be a max rarity because a dual terminal ultra exists, but still cool. So, I think honestly, I think that's all we need to say about this set. Y'all ready to move on?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I really wish that Underworld Goddess was one of the starlights of the set. I was disappointed when it didn't make the cut.
Should be told when I first saw her, I also assumed she was going to be one of the Starlights.
I think everybody
Mhm.
did. I mean, even when you look at the card itself, you're like, well, this card should have been a Starlight, man. It looks like it's got like the artwork for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
What are all the Starlights of this set? Does it say?
Arm
Let's see. We have
Dragon level 10 was one of them.
Heavenly Zephyr Miradora was one. Pot of Prosperity was one.
Shishula, and then the live twin.
Yeah, and then the live twin. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and move on, and we'll talk about the next set, which is Ghost from the Past. Ghost from the Past was the reintroduction of. Well, no, it was not the reintroduction of Ghost Rares. Rage of Ra was the reintroduction of Ghost Rares.
Yeah, this is just continuing to make more Ghost Rares.
Yeah, but this really like shot them up into like there being a lot of them. So this set introduced Ghost Rares for armed. No, I'm sorry. Blackluster Soldier, Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, Dark Magician, Firewall Dragon, and oh gosh, what was the last one?
Crystal Wing.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't want to look it up, but yeah, I wouldn't have remembered that. So yeah, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. So, this set was like, it was all right, right?
If you're a Dragoonity player, is the best set ever because this is where they gave us the Dragoonity structure deck
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
in a set instead of a structure deck.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like meh. I would have much rather gotten the structure deck.
Same.
Yeah. I think everybody would have. I mean, a structure deck just represents like more opportunity for like, good reprints and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I mean, this set was an opportunity for reprints too, but there's very few.
Well, the structure deck, you get more targeted reprints. For example, with something like Dragoonity, you would have had stuff more targeted toward. It would have reprints more targeted toward dragons and winged beasts.
Right.
For example, but just off the top of my head, maybe something like Super Rejuvenation or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas with a set like this, there's no telling what they'll reprint.
Yeah.
It'll probably have something to do with something in the set itself. Maybe not.
Yeah. I think some of the reprints though that were significant here. The entire Hieratic core is in here, which is like okay, I guess. The entire Time Thief core is in here, which is again okay, I guess.
E-Telly being in here was pretty cool.
Yeah, E-Telly was in here, which was probably maybe the best reprint in this set. The Sun Avalon deck was introduced here, and Starry Nights were introduced, but they are both bad. You had some Cosmo reprints. Those are actually good reprints for the Cosmo stuff. You had Buster Dragon, which at the time was a $50 super, so that was a good reprint. And there was another one that I remember. The Stalos, the Mega Monarch, was like a $20 card because he only had one secret rare printing.
We also got evenly matched. Evenly matched was that was like one of the cards you tried to sell the set with.
Yeah, that from what I remember, that was the card that probably sold the whole set.
Yeah.
Yeah, evenly matched was a good pull for this set. The thing about it though that was really weird to me was that like that was the card that we were supposed to get in the structure deck, you know?
Oh yeah.
So
I thought it was cool that they did the Metal Foes, all the Metal Foes stuff, reprinting Ghost from the Past because in Blazing Vortex, Metal Foes just got new support, so it was a chance to really combine those two sets together. Um, Unfortunately, Magician's Souls was not reprinted in this set, so it didn't really do much for people who are really trying to play Metal Foes competitively.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about Magician's Souls here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that oh boy. All right. Other than that, I mean the Ghost Rares were cool, but this was another set that was, to be completely honest, it was pretty poopy.
Also, this set did cause a lot of controversy because the selling point was of Ghost from the Past was that this set was going to reintroduce, well, not like you said, not reintroduce, but expand on Ghost Rares. But they made Ghost Rares so hard to pull that it was like,
Yeah. Yeah, it just kind of became what was the point?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it was like less than one per case, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was bad.
Well, it was weird because you get a case that didn't have one, and then you get a case with one, and then another one that didn't have one, and then you get a case with two ghost rares in it. It was weird.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I think it was supposed to be one ghost rare per 1.5 cases, but something went wrong somewhere.
Konami
I
had their
mean,
hands on it. That's what went wrong.
Yeah.
yeah.
But even still, one per 1.5, like two per 3 cases is still not enough ghost rare for a set around ghost rares.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Um I don't have too much else to say here. Like I said, the Ghost Rares were cool. E-Telly has turned into an expensive card again. Gee, who would have guessed? Um, but other than that, and evenly, but I don't think there's a whole lot here to talk about.
Yeah, not really.
I
Um,
wish there was more, but yeah.
yeah. Next thing to talk about is Ancient Guardians. So, Ancient Guardians released in May of this year. It was the first set that Caleb and I talked about on the podcast, actually. I remember because I keep looking back at it, and somehow our first episode, Ancient Guardians and Us, is like one of our most played episodes. And I'm so sorry to everybody that's listened to that episode. The audio is so bad.
Especially compared to now.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, we've learned a lot since. Yeah.
But so it released in May. It introduced the Ursartik, the Ogdoadic, and the Sulfachord archetypes. Yeah, it was.
I mean, to be fair, the Ogdoadics were actually really cool. Particularly because they also reprinted Snake Rain in this set, which, don't get me wrong, is a really good card, if only it could do things with non-reptiles, because reptiles are kind of a
Bad.
bad typing. Like I think the best archetype for the type is probably Ogdoadics.
Yeah, it probably is. The thing about the Ogdoadics is like the only way to really play this deck. There's like an invoked version that's like okay, but it's still. I mean, it's better than, in my opinion, anyway. It's probably better than. It's better than Ursartik. It's better than Sulfachord. It's better than the Starry Night or the Sun Avalon. Probably better than War Rocks, I think, if you do the Invoke version. But it's better than War Rocks not because Autoaddicts are good, but because it's capable of running an Invoke engine.
Exactly. The Ares Rock Sunrise that was also printed. This that was also a really cool reprint because that was secretly a fairly expensive card before.
Yes, and the one that gets me is Skullmeister was in here. That's a good reprint.
Yep, that's a great card.
And it was also
yeah.
it was also one of the collector rares, which was like, oof, that was nice.
Yes,
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen like a Skullmeister collector rare in
Very
person,
nice.
but like the way that the eyes glow red, like on the card art, is just it looks so fire. They did well. They did pretty well with that one.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that one. I have seen that. It's nice.
I mean, we also got a Pankratops collector rare, which was cool.
Yep, I was just about to say that. You beat me to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Pank Collector's Rare is also really nice here.
Not needed because the card wasn't expensive, but gives an expensive version of the card.
Well, that was the thing, was that Pank's highest rarity was Secret Rare from like a Battles of Legends set.
Yeah.
And because like the original printing was common.
Yeah.
So this gives it like an
Mhm.
actual like chase rarity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
And
for those who wanted to run it in chase rarity now can.
And also, like, it's nice because, with a lot of collector rare stuff, if you can't have like one collector rare and two commons in your deck or something like that. So it's good for Pankratops because Pankratops is at one. So you only need one collector rare of Pank. Whereas Skullmeister, if you were running Skullmeisters during that format, you needed three. So hunting down three collector rare Skullmeisters was pretty rough. I think in the secondary market, it was like $120 for the first couple weeks.
Yeah, it's in my opinion, Collector's Rare Skullmeister. I mean, not Skullmeister. Collector's Rare Pank is the best pull out of this set to this day.
Oh yeah, no, because you pulled one and you were set, just like you were saying.
Yeah. Also, it's the money card of the set. The only other thing that's even close, I think trade-in is worth a few dollars.
Trade-in's like 60-ish.
Yeah.
Still super cool card. If anytime somebody's running a deck that has lots of level 8, so they can just add to their hand.
Right. So, you have any other closing thoughts on this set? I'm good.
I have a funny story about this set.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So when this set was announced, and there was all the waiting game on what type the snake archetype was going to be, because it's like, is it fiends? Is it going to be reptiles? Because the way their artwork looked, I remember that the day they got announced as reptiles, it was like, okay, Snake Rain's already bought out. I'm not going to buy Snake Rain, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on TCG Player and buy out all the copies available for offering to the Snake Deity. And so I bought like 50 something copies of Offering to Snake Deity for like they were like 75 cents each. And it was like 2 days later, after my order had already been shipped, they announced that Offering was getting a reprint in the set. And it was like and it was like, oh darn. But the funnier part of it was the person who sent me like all the copies of that card, it actually got lost. So I did not get the package of those like 50 trap cards until like a month and a half later. And it's like I came home and I had this package in my mailbox, and it's like, what is this? What cards did I order recently? And I opened it up and it was just all the offerings. And and it was like, oh yeah, that's right.
That's really funny.
I
was like, oh, great. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And every time I
man.
sorted through my bulk, like in the meantime before the set launch, like there would just be that clump of like 50 offerings. And it's like, yeah.
Dang, what do I do with these now? All right. Let's move on to the next set. I think next we have Lightning Overdrive, released in June of 2021. Lightning Overdrive was the second core set of the year. It's here. It's a set. It's got Yu-Gi-Oh cards in it. It's like, okay, I guess. Well, no, okay. Okay. Hold on, I say that. Actually, I take that back. This set actually did change the metagame significantly, because it introduced support for fairies, which turned out to just be support for Drytron. So this set introduced Diviner of the Herald, as well as the Drytron Mu Beta Fafnir, the rank 1.
Mm-hmm.
And those 2 cards single-handedly propelled Drytron back up into tier 1.
Don't forget that they also introduced Scrap Raptor as a common in this set.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So Scrap Raptor also got printed as a common here to heavily bolster the Dino deck. So Scrap Raptor being a dinosaur, in my opinion, after this set released, we had like 2 weeks after the set released before the next ban list got announced and put into place. I actually think that Scrap Dino was the best deck in the format for like 2 weeks. And I know that's like a lot of people disagree because at the time Dragon Link was still Dragon Link was still running rampant through the format. And Drytron was going full combo. Adignister had just gotten the Dark Infant, so they just like huge Adignister support. Tri Brigade had just gotten Bearbrum the Rampant Rampager, so that now Revolt is searchable.
Yeah.
And I still think that Dino Scraps was the best deck in the format. That deck was insane with 3 Misc. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Also, like I'm looking through the list of everything in this set, and we got the Amazement archetype that was introduced in this set, which was pretty cool. It was a nice alternative for Eldritch because at the time Eldritch didn't really have reprints of anything. So it was kind of cool because Amazement was like a different spin on the trap deck. There was definitely a lot of hype on it because if you look at stuff now, it's not played at all. But I think what happened was that Amazement was kind of like the poor man's Eldritch, and then all the Eldritch stuff got reprinted. So then Eldritch became poor man's Eldritch, and so. But it was a very flavorful archetype. Also looking through the list, we got. I want to point out one notable card that was just a small support card, but it was the Plunder Patrol Sea Guide.
Yep.
that was the next thing I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
Like that card, it was deceptively powerful. Like Plunders weren't really doing anything for a while, and then this card came out, and Plunders became like it was kind of like a rogue tier 2, like high tier 2 deck. It was if you've ever played against like Plunders with somebody who's playing it properly, they make some nutty board. It's like 4 monsters with like 4,000 attack points each. It's crazy.
Yeah, that deck is like I think the word is capable.
Yeah.
I think that's a good word to use for the deck.
Yeah. So,
if you underestimate it, it's going to smack you. That's a good thing to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Plunder Patrol is really playable, especially after that. There's also a couple other like really significant cards that came out of this set. So we did get Dan Mari Adignister also. So there was a fair amount of Adignister support here. Dark Honest was released in this set.
Still think they should have named it Dishonest, but whatever.
You also have Ruddy Rose Dragon. So this card, like on the surface, doesn't seem that crazy, but it's actually a really, really good card. So definitely worth checking out if you have any. What's the word I'm looking for? If you're playing Sword Soul.
Oh yeah, no,
I think it's a great card.
It's an amazing card if you're playing Sword Soul, particularly if you have that one whose attack who gains his extra attack for banished stuff. Like make him then drop that, it's going to be beefy.
Yeah, very good.
I think any effect that involves just wiping the graveyard, like of both players' graveyard, it doesn't matter like what it's slapped on. If it's something that's an extra monster that is able to be summoned, like that's pretty strong. You don't realize how strong it is, but during that during that format, we were seeing, there was quite a few graveyard-based decks with like Dragon Link, Eldritch, stuff like that. But now, like Sword, like as you guys were saying, like Sword Soul really profits off having stuff banished and really disarming the opponent.
It's a negate too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's a really good card. And it's also, oh gosh, the thing that really pains me though, how did we not see how good that card was and go, wow, that's undervalued? That card was like $2
Yeah,
on
and then
release.
just keep buying and just buy them out.
Dude, I should have bought 80 million copies of that card.
To be fair, at the time, I didn't have the money to do that kind of thing.
Yeah. I didn't really have the money at the time for buyouts either, but still, that's dude, $2, and that's a $30-something card now.
Yeah. Anyone who bought them out when they were like $2.
Yeah, it did well.
Stonked.
Book of Lunar Eclipses here.
If it said up to, it would be probably the best card in the set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dropped my phone all over my laptop.
Oopsies. Yeah, unfortunately it's discard 1, flip 2, not flip up to 2.
Yeah, so. There's also War Rock support here.
Yeah. So, so actually, this was the set that made War Rocks mildly playable because War Rock Meteor Dragon is a boss of a card. As I said before, it's a battle phase based control deck, and if you look at Meteor Dragon and all the effects that it has, it is a walking Called by the Grave. Anything it battles, it calls by the graves when it battles it. So no like graveyard effects, no activated effects, and it attacks twice. So Meteor Dragon is just really good at cracking boards. It was a very solid addition to the deck. And Warrock Wento also it was she is if you look at her, she is essentially a level 4 monster with 2600 attack, which was hilarious because she single-handedly would just beat over the entire Mazeman archetype.
I think that the last card I want to talk about here is the what's the word I'm looking for? Not retro. The Legacy Starlight Rare is Black Rose Dragon, which is a cool addition.
To go with the Ruddy Rose Dragon, all the other Rose stuff that was in the set.
Yeah, there was like Rose support, like Garden Rose, Flora, and some other stuff. And then there was Live Twin Kiss a Kill Frost in here. So your Starlights in this set are the Live Twins Kiss a Kill Frost, Bahalutia the Grand Radiance, terrible card. Let's see, Lina the Light Charmer Lustrous, Book of Lunar Eclipse, and Black Rose Dragon. So, but Lightning Overdrive, wow, that's looking back on it, that set was a lot better than I remember it being.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that we've gone through it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was like particularly because back when the set first came out, I ended up pulling the what was it called? Utopia
Beyond
Draco Beyond or whatever. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
It's not.
What were you about to say, JD?
Oh no, I was just agreeing that after looking through this set, like going through it, like this set was actually pretty good. Not the archetypes themselves, but there was a lot of like single support cards that were really strong at the time.
Oh, and I just noticed Albion the Branded Dragon is in here, which will actually be a good card come February of this coming year when the Albaz structure deck releases.
Yeah.
Which that card should be reprinted in the structure deck, but if you want the high rarity, ultra rare version.
Yeah, this is your chance to get it now.
Yeah.
While it's still fairly cheap.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that'll do it for Lightning Overdrive. Wow, I give this set a surprising 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, a very respectable 7 out of 10.
Say call it a 6.5.
Cut the difference.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Let's look back. So we started with Blazing Vortex. I give that set literally like a 3 out of 10, maybe a 2 out of 10, honestly.
3 out of 10 for me, just because of the coolness factor of the Armed Dragon stuff.
Yeah, it looks cool. I'll give Blazing Vortex a 3 out of 10. What about you, JD?
I think 3 or 4. It wasn't really that good. It was literally Pot of Prosperity was the main sell card of that set.
Yeah. The main thing for me actually was Tri-Brigade Kit. So
yeah.
Ghost from the Past, I give that set like a 2 out of 10. That was rough.
I give it a 3 out of 10, but again, coolness points for some of the stuff that was in it.
Dragoonity and stuff.
Particularly for me though is actually the ultra rare Medolce stuff that was in it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the ultra rare freshest heart,
Pudding
petting
Cess
cessor,
and Pudding Cess.
but yeah, the pudding cessor reprint was very much needed, and the ultra rare chateau.
But they just missed the mark on so many things that should have been reprinted.
Yeah, that they should have had Queen in there. That would have
plus any number of expensive cards at the time that would have been good.
Yeah.
So,
but that's why I give it a solid 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2 out of 10 because this set literally had evenly matched E-Telly, and that's about it for me. And Ghost Rares, but like whatever.
I would give Ghost from the Past a 5 out of 10.
A 5?
Yeah, mainly because the Dragoonity stuff was in here, and that proved to actually be really strong. All of the Horatic core was in this set, and the Time Thief core was in this set. And Time Thieves are kind of like a fan favorite archetype, so it's like getting that entire set like reprinted plus their new stuff that was introduced. Like if you were a Time Thief player, like this was a really awesome set.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You know, I'll bump off the backs of what you two said. I'll bump mine up to a 3. Ancient Guardians, I literally would only give this one. I'll give this one a 3 also, just because Ogdo Addicts are okay, I guess. They gave Snake's Reign a use, and the Pank and Skullmeister reprints though were really cool.
For me though, just off the back of the Pank and Skullmeister, I give it a 4.
Yeah. What about you, JD, for Ancient Guardians?
Kind of leaning more towards 4. Like it wasn't that impactful. Snakes got a lot of hype in the beginning, and they proved to not be that strong after a while.
Yeah.
Sulfur Court has never seen any competitive play, though it is kind of like a little bit of a fan favorite archetype. I see people talk about every now and then. And then Ursartik. Oof. I don't know if you've ever actually tried to play Ursartik, but that deck is rough. It's hard to play. There's so many gaps in the deck.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, I thought you were supposed to fill the gaps with Drytron.
Yeah. Woof.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, going back to Lightning Overdrive, I gotta give this at least like a 6.5.
Yeah.
Maybe I think a 6.5 is probably fine. I mean, it introduces the branded stuff for the first time. The War Rock support's cool. The Ruddy Rose Dragon, the Diviner, what is it called? The Plunder Patrol support. I mean,
I give the Utopia stuff a gold star if you tried.
Yeah. The Line of the Light Charmer. I mean, this set really does have some good cards in it. I give this set a 7, honestly.
Oh yeah, very respectable. 6 to 7.
Yeah.
Sticking at 6.5.
Yeah. So if we're gonna do it as 6.5, I feel is perfect for this.
Yeah.
Next set we have is King's Court. Oh, King's Court released on July the 9th of 2021. So this set was a 65 card set. It had supports for Magna and Magnet Warrior. It had Eyes Restricts and Relinquish support. Some Prophecy, some Rose stuff, some Number stuff, Utopia stuff, Galaxy stuff, generic Xyz stuff. And it also less introduced and more like really put archetypal support around the face card archetype, which is like King's Knight, Queen's Knight, Arcana Triumph Joker was in this set, things like that. We got some really good cards like Imperial Bower and Joker Straight, things like that.
Oh, this is also where we got F-Zero Utopic Draco Future. Yeah,
this set was actually like kind of bonkers in my opinion. So this set has, like Caleb said, Utopic Draco Future. This set actually had some really good reprints. Also had Lightning Storm is in here, which is awesome. You have Evolzar Dolka was secretly like a $15 to $20 card.
Yep.
Wind Up Arsenal Zen Mayo before the set was released was like a $40 card because it had one secret rare printing way back in the day, and that was it.
Oh wow!
Yeah. That card was like $40 for the original secret rare back before this set release. Which is hilarious because sure they reprinted it here and they reprinted it again later in the year, but like actually it's not really used in anything. They're just reprinting it because it was expensive for no reason at all.
It was expensive because it was used that one time.
Yeah. You had. I would like to talk about some of the awesome collector's rares in this set.
Oh my god, the collector's rares in this set were fantastic.
Oh yeah, dude. So yeah, JD, I'll let you take it away on this one because you were telling us earlier about your face card deck. What you got?
Yeah, so King's Court was a set that really did live up to its hype. Uh, this set, like, there's a lot of noble cards here. So yeah, the Utopic Draco Future is in here. We got all of the Poker Knight stuff. I'm gonna call them Poker Knights because that's just what I refer to them as. The ZW Leo Arms was also a really notable reprint in this deck because previously that also only had one printing and it was like $40.
Yeah.
So, and if you were playing Utopia, like actually trying to play Utopia between the stuff you got out of Lightning Overdrive and this, like you needed Leo Arms. And so this getting a reprint was really nice. But yeah, so where do I start? So the Poker Night stuff is I can't tell you how many times I played against opponents and they would read the Poker Night stuff as it's resolving and just being like, oh wow, that's busted. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like Joker Knight is essentially a free level 5 light warrior that you can slap on board every turn. It's gonna go back to your hand every turn. Joker Straight is 3 bodies for the cost of 1 discard, which is fire. Face Card Fusion is a meh card. It's not really that good. However, it has a lot of versatility in it that is a little bit deceptive. You don't have to use Face Card Fusion for Arcana Knight Joker. You can use it for literally anything. But if you're using a Poker Knight, you get to send something from your deck. So it's kind of versatile in that manner. I actually used it for Eoden the Conqueror Star because it takes 2 level 5 warrior monsters. So it's kind of good in that manner. But yeah, going through some of these collector rares, like Arcane Triumph Joker, Joker's Knight, Imperial Bower, Joker Straight, Joker's Wild did not get a collector's rare, and I really, really, really wish it did because that card is dumb. It's essentially a Verte Anaconda for the deck because you send a spell card and then copy the effect. So it's kind of hard to negate or disrupt. Like if it's going to resolve and it's going to essentially get your combos going during the opponent's turn, which is even kind of nuttier when you think about it that way. Utopic Draco Future got a collector's rare during this set. The Guilty Gearford got a collector's rare. Hyper Galaxy, which was kind of like a one-of played in the Galaxy decks, was a collector's rare in this set, and that was pretty cool.
I'm gonna say that's probably the worst collector's rare in this set, though.
Yeah, yes. No, it is.
Yeah,
Queen,
that's saying a
Kings,
lot.
Jack's Knight. Oh, yeah. So the Queens, Kings, Jack's Knights all had collector rare. Rescue Rabbit got a collector's rare printing during the set, and that was really nice.
Such a good collector's rare printing right now, and they're not that expensive. They're like less than $50.
Mm-hmm. Utopia got a collector's rare print, which, man, I was a little bit salty when Utopia got announced as an OTS Ultimate Rare later on in the year, because I remember like picking up collector's rare Utopias, and I was like, this card is gonna hold so much value because it's like it's like a collector rarity, and then OTS got announced, and then collector rare Utopia's tanked.
Yep, I remember that exact thing. I did the exact same thing.
Reinforcement of the Army got a collector's rare.
Such a good one.
Oh yeah. Lightning Storm, Rivalry of the Warlords.
Awesome collectors. And
then like we cannot ignore like the Egyptian gods in this set. Like Cypher, Obelisk, and Winged Dragon Raw had a heroic, what was it? Pharaoh's Ultra and Pharaoh's Secret Rare, which I don't know why they split them that way.
I think
really
the
wish they
secrets
would
were
just kept the
considered
secret.
misprints.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that would make sense.
Yeah, because they just didn't exist in the. They just did not exist as secret rares in the EU zones.
Yeah.
Yeah, this set, like, while the Joker and stuff wasn't that strong, which by the way is going to be a lot stronger now that Rose of Legends out, all the collector's rares in this set were like completely crap. Like everything is worth so much at this set.
This set is sneaky, extremely good value. There's nothing on the first page, the entire first page of this set, that is less than $15. That's insane when you really consider a set from 6 months ago. You have the Secret Pharaoh's rare. Slifer is $240. Winged Dragon of Ra is $170. Obelisk is $103. Then you have Lightning Storm collectors are lowest listed is $100, but that's damage. Lowest near mint is $150. Then you go to the Utopic Draco Futures are like $120. Rhodas are like over $100. Rivalries are like $70. Lightning Storms are $70 for the Ultra. I mean, Arcana Triumph Jokers are $40s. And then the Slifer, Ra, and Obelisk Ultras are all around $40. And you just keep going through 40, 40, 25, 30. Utopias are $35. Utopic Draco Future for the Ultra is $30. And then more collector's rares at 30, 25, 20, 15. I mean, just the collector's rares and just this set was awesome. When this set released, everyone was like, it's all right. Dude, this set was fire.
Oh yeah, and another kind of going to like one of those like deceptively powerful cards in the set was actually a magnet card, and it was Magnet Induction.
Yes.
It like this card plus any Magnet Warrior was essentially full combo for the deck, and like it's so strong. It is such a strong card.
Yeah. Oh, and then you have Thunderspeed Summon, which was like a Slifer support card that mixed Slifer the Sky Dragon with the face card deck.
Yeah, but that was bad. That was a bad card.
But it's cool.
It's cool. I've only seen it resolve one time.
Did they win the game?
No, I ran over Slifer. Like they summoned their Slifer, and then I did all my Joker Knight stuff, and I hit them with the Utopia double combo.
Yep, double. Wow. Oh, also a sneaky good reprint here was actually Gravekeeper Spy as a rare. That's a good GOAT reprint and Edison actually, because Gravekeeper Spy is kind of like a sneakily good card for like the first decade of Yu-Gi-Oh. So
2K defense.
Yeah, and it pulls out another one. Chao Feng is also in here of the Phantom of the Yang Zhang. That's actually a good reprint that has come up, and I use Chao Feng myself. That one that I pulled out of King's Court, I use in my Sword Soul deck.
What was the one where you were kind of like, oh no, I thought I had this, but I didn't. And I kind of was like, I have exactly one in bulk.
Yeah, that was Yazi from the
Yazi.
OTS pack. Yeah,
I just so happened to have a single Yazi.
It was the last card I needed for the entire deck. It worked out great. Man, I'm gonna give this set an 8 out of 10. I love this. This is awesome.
I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 only because all the best cards of the entire set were all the collector's rares, which are, kind of hard to get.
No, that's not true.
But
Lightning Storm is a $70 ultra rare.
Well, no. What I'm saying is that I'm only giving it that because the best cards in the set were all the collector rares. Not the only good cards, but
okay,
the best cards were all collector rares. Are kind of hard to get. So I'm gonna also go with like a 7.
I bought 3 boxes and pulled 2 collector's rares. So I mean,
yeah,
it
exactly.
can be done. Yeah, no, I love King's Court. I think there's a ton of value to be had from a set that only had 65 different cards in it. There's so many good cards, so many good reprints. I'm sticking on an 8. I love this.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm saying that this is going to be about an 8 for this set. This set is really strong, and it's only going to get better over time. if you look at the Poker Night stuff, it's all quite generic, and it locks you into light warriors, which when you start to really look through that card pool is not that strong. But when you look through it a little bit closer, all of the really, really overpowered Utopia stuff is all light warriors. So Poker Knights can be used as an engine for that. But there, between that and some of the much needed reprints, along with a lot of like chase cards in this set, like this was an eight. Whether you were a casual player or a collector, like you wanted to pick up this set because it was good for everybody.
Yeah, this set was bonkers in my opinion.
Oh yeah, but only in hindsight. At the time, I remember people saying it's not that great of a set.
Yeah, at the time, everyone was kind of, I'm not going to say disappointed with it, but everyone was kind of like, it's all right, underwhelmed.
Whatever. And I think part of that was entirely due to the fact that the previous sets were all kind of garbage.
Yeah. So,
but hindsight being 2020 and all that, this set was secretly pretty good.
Yeah. Let's move on to Dawn of Majesty, because we have like 5 more sets to do, and we do not have a lot of time.
Yeah.
Dawn of Majesty released in August of this year. It had mainly Stardust support. It was the introduction of the Bee Trooper archetype, as well as the Despia archetype. So this set was actually pretty solid. You've got like the Despian stuff. You have Aluber. You have Dramaturge, Albion the Shrouded Dragon.
Technically, it's also the introduction of Sword Soul.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Technically.
Yeah, you do have your first Sword Soul card here in the Iris Sword Soul. This set's actually kind of cool. There's some more, like I said, Despia stuff. You got some Soulful Chord support. You have the introduction. Why do I keep saying introduction? It's not even a word. You have the introduction of the Suship archetype. You have some good one-of cards like the Stellar Wind Wolfriette. You have, just a lot of cool stuff. Gizmek support, Chronomaly support. Like Magic-Key was introduced here. Magic-Key is cool. Just the introduction. So you get the introduction of Bee Troopers, Magic-Key, and the
Ready Fusion.
Yeah, and
Ready Fusion.
And the Despia stuff, though. Just Despia, Bee Trooper, and Magic-Key. Like, that's really good.
Like,
and Suship.
Yeah, and the Suships, which are super cool.
Yeah.
But like just the very existence of Ready Fusion made Quaggar Hercules spike in price
by like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, because like before, I think it was like still like a $20, $30 card because it's like super short printed.
It was originally like an $80 to $100 for the TP1 super rare.
Yeah,
but it went from $80 to $100 to like $700 to $800.
Yeah,
and then the rare from TP3 went from like $10 or $15 to like $80.
Yeah, literally.
Keep in mind though, we're talking about a card that was first released in the same set as the original printing of Mechanical Chaser.
Yes, because it is the only insect fusion monster
that's level 6 or lower and a normal.
Correct. Well, no. Like even if you include the normal instant fusion targets, it's still the only insect.
Oh, is it?
It is the only insect fusion accessible between Ready Fusion and Instant Fusion.
Wow. Yeah. So
as far as I know, it's the only insect fusion. Until recently, Bee Troopers just got one too.
Oh yeah, that's true. But it's not an Instant Fusion or Ready Fusion target.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, this is an interesting set. It's got a lot of Stardust support, also like Synchron Stardust support. Specifically with some things like, oh my goodness, I just had it. Shooting Majestic Star Dragon, which was the cover card. You have Arrival in Light, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
You have Synchro Overtake, which was one of the secret rares of the set. You have the
Stardust Synchron.
That was the one I was looking for, yes.
And then the retrain for Majestic Dragon, who while on field is Majestic Dragon.
Yeah.
Because they tried to make Majestic Dragons usable.
Yeah.
They tried.
And then your legacy Starlight of this set is Stardust Dragon himself. So
gorgeous card.
Oh, it's so nice. So yeah, I think the set's very cool. JD, what do you think about the set?
I thought Dawn of Majesty was overall really interesting set. As you pointed out, there's an introduction of a lot of different archetypes in the set, which when you compare that to Lightning Overdrive, we got like one deck introduced and then all support. This was kind of like supposed to be like flipping the page and introducing a lot. We got a bunch of Gizmek support to really shape out the Gizmek deck as a whole, which was really interesting how they did because all the Gizmek stuff is very different from each other. So the fact that they only printed like 5 cards and were able to tie that all together, I thought was pretty cool on their part. The Despia archetype was not that strong in the beginning. It had a couple standout moments for the first like week or two after the set dropped, but then once people realized how to beat it, it didn't really stand out all too much anymore. However, Alibur is a really strong card, and with the branded fusion that's going to be releasing out of the Albat structure deck, I only foresee Alibur going up because it is essentially an Alistair for that deck. It will search the branded fusion and then get you off, that nutty combo that the deck does.
Yeah.
Other than that,
The one thing to note about that though is that Aluber is projected to be in the structure deck. He was in the OCG version of the structure deck.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But if he is, he's going to be at best a super.
Right.
At absolute best.
Yeah, this will still be the highest rarity.
Yeah. So for those of you who have them and, had their hearts sink whenever you heard that, it's fine. It's going to be at best a super, at worst a common.
Yeah. So,
well, they might make it an ultra because it's also one of the tokens.
Nah, I doubt it.
Nah.
I'm going to give this set like a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
6.
Yeah, that's fair. I gave it a 7 mostly off the B troopers.
I'm not gonna lie. I mostly did it off of Despia. I just like the way they look.
Yeah, they're cool. Let's move on into the 2021 Tin of Ancient Battles. So, of course, the Tin of Ancient Battles will always be a cool set. I'm gonna be honest. There is just entirely too much going on here. It's 160 card set or 100. No, I'm sorry, 260 card set. It's entirely too big to talk about everything that's in here, but notably, you have the entire Tri Brigade engine, the entire Virtual World engine. You have
for the Ad Ignister engine.
Yeah, the entire Ad Emancipator engine. You have the introduction of some new Dark Magician support, which will be very relevant coming into when we get the new set coming in January, Battle of Chaos, or no, is it Battle of Chaos?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bach.
Yeah. And obviously the elephant in the room, the introduction of Crossout Designator to the TCG.
Hey.
But also beautiful secrets like Cross Sheep.
Yeah, so there were some cool secret rare upgrades here.
Like the secret Cross Sheep is gorgeous.
Yeah. So some of the notable ones to me, Ice Dragon's Prisons, Shadal Schism, Dogmatica Punishment, are all like really, really nice secret rares. El Shadal Construct looks good as a secret rare.
I know because I have one.
Yeah. Tri Brigade Revolt is a really cool rarity upgrade. So I'm very happy about some of the rarity upgrades and stuff that came through this set specifically. And then in the ultra rare slot was just loaded in this set. You had the Crossout Designator, Animadorn Archosaur, Trias Hierarchia, which is a cheap card now, but when with the agent stuff comes out, that card's crazy. Ghost Mourner Moonlit Chill is here, Gravedigger's Trap Hole is an ultra, Fallen of Albaz as an ultra, Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon, Titaniclad, Nadir Servant, Triple Tactics Talent, Phantom Knights of Torn Scales, Alpha, the Master of Beast, Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. The ultra rare slot was just loaded. So, I like the Megatins. Obviously, it's always a good reprint set. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10 because there's no access code talker. There is no promo cards in the set. Everything is you have to be pulled. And and the ratios are so insane that it's hard to pull anything that you actually want. So, but good on the reprints. The reprints are very good, except for no access code and no forbidden droplet.
Yeah, I give it a 7 because, like he said, the reprints in this are just ridiculous. But there's so many cards that it's real hard to pull just one copy of something you need.
Yeah. What do you got, JD?
I'm gonna give this set a 7.5 out of 10. Mainly because the Virtual World and Tri Brigade reprints were in this set. Virtual World was introduced during Phantom Rage, which was November of 2020, and
Tri Brigade, yeah.
And so it's like we're a whole year later, and Virtual and Tri Brigade are both in the meta. So getting both of those archetypes completely reprinted to a point that makes the deck like incredibly cheap was really nice for budget players who wanted to switch over to something a little bit more of a competitive deck, and also Crossout Designator, which I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions about the card, but I am an average Crossout Designator appreciator, and I love that card.
Same.
I'm very whelmed by that card.
Yes.
It's a word.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's do we still have to go through 3 sets and we are out of time. Burst of Destiny. Y'all, I'm just gonna be honest. I think we can just do grades on Burst, Eldorado, and Brothers because
they're so new.
They literally have all come out in the last month.
Yeah, definitely.
Burst of Destiny released on November the 5th. Burst of Destiny is insane. It completely reshaped the metagame. The introduction of Sword Souls and Fluanderies, as well as Destiny Hero Destiny Hero Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. I mean, you have Small World is in here. You have just everything in here is insane. Everything in here, just the set top to bottom. All of the secret rares are at least playable, mostly. Evil Twins Trouble Sunny is awesome. I think that's all that needs to be said. The set's awesome, and penguins are cool. I give the set a 10 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
I would do 8.5 out of 10. Primarily because like Flunders were a really good addition. I play Flunders, so I'm biased. But the Sword Soul archetype, which was an archetype that got a lot of hype this set, like unless you bought a case or you were like a real whale player, there is that barrier, that financial barrier behind Sword Souls. So it's not accessible in that manner. But Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer, Flaunderies, and Sword Soul, like those three archetypes and card in general, like they did reshape the meta. So yeah, I'd stick at like 8.5.
I don't know how to feel about getting called a whale, man. Max Gold Eldorado. Tons of really cool reprints. Actually, I'll take it back. I'm gonna give Burst a 9 out of 10 because I don't want it to be the top. I want these to be the top.
Fair.
Blue Eyes White Dragon, Red Eyes Dark Magician, of course, Exodia. Rescue Cat's an awesome reprint. Fossil Dino Pachycephalo is a secretly good reprint. You have Cyframe Gear Gamma's cool. All the dinosaur stuff is cool. Danger Bigfoot and Nessie, with Bigfoot getting an alt art. The entire Eldritch engine. Like I said, all the dinosaur stuff. IP with the alt art. Unicorn with the alt art. Access code talker. Pot of Extravagance. This set's awesome. The entire Prank Kids engine is here. The entire Altergeist engine is here. This set's awesome. This set's also a 9 out of 10 for me.
For me, it's a 9 out of 10, only because of availability.
Yeah, it would probably be a 10. Or, you make a good point. I give it an 8 out of 10 because it's not. You can't find it anywhere.
Yeah. I just want one box of it. Just one.
Yeah. What about you, JD?
Gosh, I don't know. I'm looking through it all right now. I want to say like 7.5. I personally did not really like this set all too much. I really thought that they were trying to use Anaconda and Access Code Talker to sell the rest of this set. However, you guys did make some good points that Altergeist stuff is here. Some hard to get cards were reprinted in the set, like some of the Weather Painter stuff. all the Eldritch, all the prank kids. Rest in peace, my homie prank kids, and like the Charmers. Like it's a good set. I personally just did not really like it all too much. So yeah, it's 7.5. And yeah, like you said about the accessibility, it is a little bit tricky to find nowadays.
Yeah. So, last set of the year, Brothers of Legend. This set just released on December the 3rd here in North America. This set's pretty cool. It's got some Ad Ignister stuff, some AI stuff, some Destiny Hero stuff, Fright Furs, Karibo, Lyralesk, Number stuff, Penguin stuff, Speedroid stuff, Utopia and Zexal stuff. Introduced the Stealth Kragan archetype into the TCG. A couple of Starlight rares, cough cough. Don't know anybody that pulled those. Um, more Alter Guys support. Like I said, the Appliancer stuff, and some of the reprints in this set. Actually, all of the reprints in this set were insane. You have just rolling real quick through the reprints. You have Forbidden Droplet, Magician Souls, Red Eyes Fusion, A Dusted Gold, Malicious Bane, Thought War Archfiend, Shooting Star Dragon, Starlight Road, Diablosis the Mind Hacker, which was a prize card. That's cool. Godarla, Kaiju Slumber, Kaiju Capture Mission, the Underworld Squire, and the Heavenly Squire. Phantom Knights of Raga Gloves, Nibiru, Infernoid Decatron, and Tierra, another Zenmayo printing, Inzector Exabeetle, Downward Magician, Beatrice Lady the Eternal, Relinquished Anima, Allure of Darkness, Fossil Dig, Rank Up Magic Argent, Chaos Force, Resurge McSeed, Void Feast, like I said, the Dragoon Starlight, and the Leviathan Astral. This set's really cool. The reprints, things like Wing Requital and the Lyralisk Birdstrike getting their first printing are cool. I'll give this set a 7 out of 10. Maybe an 8.
I'm giving it a solid 8, mostly because of Birdstrike and Ring Requital.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say probably an 8, 8.5 out of 10. This set introduced a lot of stuff that it expanded on throughout the year. So, we got additions to the Altergeist archetype in here. We got a lot of really strong Utopia stuff. So to really tie in like King's Court and Lightning Overdrive, like if you really loved Zexal, like this year was awesome for you in that manner. And then of course, like some of the reprints, like the Diablos, was a great addition. I think that card is really cool. Not super viable, but I have a soft spot for that card. Nibiru was nice.
Yeah, their Kuribo support's really cool. Kuriba,
Yeah.
Be.
Yeah,
So.
and then of course the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. I unfortunately had to buy mine. I don't want to talk about it, but
We can't all just go into the locals, buy one box, and pull it. Not everybody's capable of just being better at the game like that.
yeah. It's like the equivalent of like the Alistair and the Invoker, and the Invocation in your hand.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. I bought one box and I pulled Droplet and the Dragoon, and I was like,
Looks like I'm done buying this set.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I did. I was like, I pulled 6 Allure of Darknesses between my box and some other, what I was able to pick up. I picked up like 2 play sets of Birdstrike and Wing Requital. I was like, dude, I'm done. I'm happy. I got everything I wanted and then some. So, whoop. Well, that recaps the year for Yu-Gi-Oh! Set releases. We do want to take a quick moment. We did not stop to talk about our sponsor. So thank you so much to ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana. They are the ones that have that Brothers of Legend. They still have multiple displays of Max Gold. They still have pretty much everything you could want for the year for the set releases. So they still have Burst of Destiny, everything you need. Be sure to check out ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana. There will be a half case tournament at ETB on December 18th for anybody interested. It will be $20 entry, and it will be a half case of prize support of either Brothers of Legend or Burst of Destiny. And whoever the winner is going to get to pick what they want their prize support to be in. So if they say it's, you get 3 boxes or whatever it is for winning. You can get 1 Brothers Legend and 2 Bursts of Destiny or
you get
whatever.
You get first pick of 3 boxes.
Yeah, you can just kind of choose whatever you want, and then everybody will just be able to choose whatever prize support they want from either Burst or Brothers. You'll get the same amount of packs, but you'll just get to choose what set you get it from. So it would be a half case tourney, and then if we do if we get up to 40 people, it'll be a full case tourney. So, and then there will also be a display of maximum gold given away, like pack by pack, to people that enter. There's not really a set system for how they're doing that yet. They might just give it out to people that bubble, give it out to people that, just whatever, just giving out as much product as they can. So, be sure to check that out. That is again on December the 18th. If you need more information, feel free to hit me or Caleb up through Discord. On that vein, please be sure to check out our Discord, which the link will be in the description below. Be sure to check out both our Twitter at Top Cut Podcast and JD's Twitter at Set5 Podcast. Be sure to check out JD's podcast on Spotify. Again, links will be in the description below. Before we roll out, there are 2 things we need to do. We did get a new review on Apple Podcast from George LR. One of my favorite podcasts, 5 stars. An amazing podcast that keeps me up to date with Yu-Gi-Oh! Related things. As someone new and who is trying to figure out their deck, which is Utopia Onomatopoeia, I would 100% recommend this podcast to new or even veteran players. Hope they keep up the good work. Thank you so much, George. It means the world that you think highly of us. And if you do want your review read out on the podcast, be sure to go in and leave it on Apple Podcasts. And then the last thing is the podcast question of the day. So, last week's podcast question of the day was, what cards do you think are causing a problem in the current metagame? So, we got a lot of answers, but mainly Verte and Dagda or Scythe, Protos, and Harpy's Featherstorm. I mean, almost every reply mentioned either the artifact engine, whether it be Dagda or Scythe, or Protos. And then probably half of them mentioned Harpy's Featherstorm, and the other half mentioned IO and Mystic Mine, just because they're floodgates. And you also have a lot of people mentioning the Samorg Link as a problem card within the format. And then over in our Discord server, oh wow, this got a lot of discussion here. IO, Protos and Scythe even more, and then more Protos and people really hate Protos and Scythe. It was people have really determined that those to be the problem cards this format. But yeah, I mean, Protos and Scythe, from what I can tell, everybody just hates those cards.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for just kind of, locking you out of your entire extra deck, period, and also nuking the field of attributes every turn.
Yeah, yeah, they're good cards. So, JD, what is your answer to this? What do you think is a big problem card this format?
I think IO is a pretty powerful card. I get that it's a trap card and it's a 1-up and it has that cost every turn, but it feels so bad if the opponent's main decking it and you get hit with it on turn 1. Like if you lose the die roll and they have IO and you can't get started, it hurts. A lot of decks in the game, with the exception of Eldritch, they're half spell cards, and one card just saying no, you can't use half your deck is pretty rough. I can't complain about Scythe all too much this format, but that's because I play Plunder, so nobody's actually played Scythe against me. But I have been hit with the Protos, and yeah, that's a little bit of a rough one as well. I feel like Anaconda was kind of was pretty bad for a while, but with Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer, I've noticed a lot of people not even summoning the Anaconda. They just use the Fusion Destiny at the end of their combo, much as they would do with the Anaconda. So
Yep.
It's, I don't know. It's hard to say whether I don't know. It's Anaconda's such a weird card because I feel like it is an issue and it is a problem. But like at the same time, then you just like run 3 Red Eyes Fusion or you run 3 Fusion Destiny. You know what I mean? So, but I think that'll pretty much wrap us up for today. Thank you everybody so much for listening. Please, I didn't even ask the new podcast question today. What am I doing with my life?
Say.
New podcast question of the day for today is: what is your favorite set release of the last year? Pretty much of the ones we listed. What is your favorite set? What's the thing that you enjoy the most?
For me, it would actually probably be Maximum Gold.
Yeah.
El Dorado, because I just like having all those really high value reprints.
Yeah, I enjoy Brothers of Legend. Honestly, I know there's probably some or Burst of Destiny. I know there's probably some recency bias there, but I love those sets. So, JD.
I would say my favorite set this year was King's Court. King's Court was, I invested a lot in the set. I loved the archetypes that was introduced, and I don't know, there was a lot of like Gen 1 support and peddling in that set with all the Yugi stuff and the Egyptian god stuff. But man, so many good collector rares. It was a nice set for me.
King's Court was my next one. I love King's Court. So, JD, one more time, where can people find you? Where's the best place to find you besides the description below, which there again will be a link. Where else can people find you?
So Set 5 podcast is available really anywhere you get your podcast. On my Twitter at Set 5 podcast, I mainly share the Spotify link because that's the one that I've noticed a lot more people have accessibility to. But it's also available through Anchor Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
Yep, absolutely. So everybody, please be sure to check out the Set 5 pod. I almost said Top Cut podcast. Be sure to check out the Set 5 podcast here with your host JD. Please sure to share both us and the Set 5 podcast with everybody you know, and be sure to quick for the third time on the outro. Be sure to check out our Patreon, check out our Discord, check out our Twitter. Please be sure to check out Team Dark Arm Dealings. They are our sister YouTube channel. And check out ETB Games. Links for all of that will be in the description down below. If you want to answer the podcast question of the day, you can find that on our Twitter page as well as in our Discord server. There's a channel labeled Podcast Question of the Day. I think that wraps us up for the day. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Have a good one.
Take care, everybody.
Yeah, thanks so much.